Hey, welcome back to Dad Life Chess. This is Joel, and today it's time to go over round two of the North American Open. I played the North American Open in Vegas this past December at the right after the Christmas holiday, and I already went over game one, which was rather interesting. Encourage you to watch the video if you have not. But we're going to dive into game two here. Like I said before, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. That helps me out a lot as I'm trying to grow this channel. But hope you enjoy this video. This game was the second game in the tournament, and again, I was playing the 3-day schedule, so this game was game 60 with a 10-second delay. Game 3, which also was played on the same day, the next round is when we go back to the normal schedule, the longer time controls. Well, my opponent was Swagatha. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. My opponent was 10 years old. 10 years old. So, I mean, basically about this time, the average age of my opponents was about 12. But she was a phenomenal chess player. 10 years old, has a bright future ahead of her for sure. So my opponent, she opened up with e4, and I played d5. Now, my coach has been talking to me even really before I went to this tournament about changing my repertoire a little bit, maybe adding some variety in my repertoire. And but he had suggested to keep with what I knew best, which is the Scandinavian. I've been playing Scandinavian for a few years, and my opponent played normally, captured. I took with the queen and then played knight c3. Again, my opponent was 10 years old. My coach recommended, especially with the younger kids, to just play, the John Bartholomew Queen D8 Scandinavian. It's, not the most critical of lines, but I enjoy the positions. It doesn't seem like white gets a crazy advantage unless they know really, really what they're doing. And a lot of that has to do with an early G4 in a lot of these lines. But my opponent played simply knight f3. Actually, I'm sorry. My opponent started with d4, which is the more accurate move order. I played knight f6, then they played knight f3, and I played bishop g4, and she responded with bishop e2. So this is not the most critical line. The most critical line is actually when they play an early h3. You take, and then going on here, it gets kind of crazy. They'll early g4 actually is a move, and that's probably this line. If you ever play me and I play the queen d8, this is the line that almost, I think, refutes the queen d8 Scandinavian, but it's not over, but it gives white a pretty solid advantage. So we didn't play into that line. My opponent, she played bishop e2, kind of a just a standard developing move, getting out of the pin. I played e6, and sorry, getting a text message here. Good times. Then my opponent did actually play h3. I took, takes back, plays c6. Of course, she's on my pawn. Then she played a3. I wasn't too sure what the purpose of a3 was, but hey, no problems there. Knight bd7, bishop f4, stopping bishop d6. I just play bishop e7, castles and castles. Okay, we made it out of the opening. Nothing super phenomenal. She does have the bishop pair, but I thought to myself, I'll just maneuver, trade off some pieces. I'll probably, didn't want to have a lot of fireworks, and hopefully be able to, play a good game, maybe outplay her in the middle game / end game. Well, my opponent played rook e1, and then I played rook e8. This was actually the first point where my coach, going over the game, he said, this was probably my first inaccuracy of the game. I'm not really doing anything with this move. And this kind of actually is something I've seen in a lot of my games. When I don't really know what to do, I'll oftentimes, I kind of play without a plan. And I end up finding myself in that situation in this game often. Well, instead of playing rook e8, my coach said, why not just play something like knight b6, coming in here or here, and trying to exchange off. I really would like to exchange off one of his, or I mean, one of her bishops, and but I didn't. I ended up playing rook e8. My opponent played knight e4, and I just took her knight. She took back. I played knight f6, and she played bishop f3. Um, Again, I really should be fighting the bishop pair. Something as simple as bishop d6 is a good idea. She probably would drop back. I don't know if she would want to trade. She even may increase the pin or something like that, and then I might even see what goes on there. Kind of play bishop g5. I might even play h6. Put the question to her bishop, and if she goes back here, there's actually an interesting line where I can push. She can go here, and now I've kind of ruined her pawn structure, and I have basically a lot of pressure on this pawn. It's skewered. I mean, it's pinned to the king. So yeah, this would be the kind of position I would love to see. Of course, my opponent probably wouldn't have gone into that, but by not playing bishop d6 in this position, and instead playing queen b6 is what I chose in the game, I'm not really playing with a concrete plan. And so my opponent played b4. Well, at this point I thought, well, okay, we got some little bit of weaknesses, in the position. Maybe I can maneuver my knight into these squares. There's something there. Again, I should be shooting for this bishop d6 idea, but I didn't see that, so I played rook a d8, just trying to line up my rook to the queen there. She ends up playing bishop excuse me, bishop e5, and right here again I should be playing bishop d6. This was like the move that I should be playing. This is not something I would worry about, these doubled pawns. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. I'm okay with this. It's kind of an unclear position, but it's definitely something I would be okay with going into. The bishop pair ends up playing a big role in this game, but instead of that, I ended up playing a5 in this. I thought, well, maybe I'll try to disrupt and break up her queenside pawns. But she ends up playing c3, and then I end up playing knight d7. Again, I could have actually played, I think I could even played bishop d6. No, this position's even a little bit worse. But yeah, so I want to exchange off this bishop, but she's smart. She plays bishop f4, keeping the bishop. And here I play probably my first, that I thought of, my first inaccuracy. Maybe the lack of the bishop move or the knight move might have been dubious, but this I think was an inaccuracy. I'm basically allowing this opening of the A file for my opponent, and I'm going to be able to, she's going to be getting more activity than I probably should be giving her. So I played bishop f6, and I want to, now I'm kind of going for these pushes, the e5 and the c5 push. My opponent plays bishop e4, and I end up right here. Saw this move, and I thought, that's odd. I almost just automatically pushed e5, but then I thought, oh, she's trying to get this check. Queen comes here, takes. So I calculated a little bit. Now, this was a critical moment. This was a critical moment of the game, and I ended up playing g6, blunting the bishop, and then saying, I'm going to go ahead and push e5 next. It's not bad. However, there is actually a critical line that e5 works. That's the best way I would say it. e5 actually works. Let me show it to you. What I calculated is e5, d takes e5, and what I was looking at is things like bishop and knight. Okay. Well, bishop takes e5 is a huge mistake because this does work. Bishop takes here, then even just takes. If takes, then here we have this. Drops back, rook takes, and this is just very, very good for white. My pieces are passive compared to white's pieces, and she would be up a pawn. This is not what I wanted to go for. So this is kind of vague, vaguely kind of had this idea of what was going to happen if I didn't play g6, but there actually is a better line, and it goes down to knight takes e5. And now if my opponent ends up here, the best thing is just to maybe let's see, exchange off. No, I'm sorry, I'm on the queen, so the queen has to go here. So e5 actually works, but if my opponent here plays bishop takes, king takes, queen h5, king g8, bishop takes e5, the key move g6, and now I'm going to be able to get this back. And there's no way for my opponent to guard this bishop, and so this would be clearly winning. G6 move is double exclamation point, just to be able to see that. Now, granted, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 moves or whatever. I didn't see that. I didn't calculate that, but so I can't get too mad at myself for playing g6, but I played g6, kind of seeing these tactics. And then my opponent played rook a5. Now, this is an inaccuracy. Again, she's human, I should say. Okay, this 10-year-old girl is human. She can make an inaccuracy. And here, my best move is to go with my original plan, and that is to play for this e5 push. Her putting their bishop on e4 made it actually a little bit offsides. It kind of disconnects the coordination of the rook. And so e5 is the correct move here. Matter of fact, it's equal according to the computer, but if you play through the lines, it's definitely something. It's much more comfortable for black, because I'm gonna be able to chip away at these pawns, and yeah, that's what I needed. Well, I end up playing a huge blunder here, and the blunder is a blunder because obviously that's a bad move. But my opponent found the correct answer, and I ended up playing c5. And this is a clear blunder. I was imagining any scenario where she would take. Okay, if she takes here, obviously I take the rook, can't do that. If she takes here, then this is the kind of position I want. I'm on the queen, on this bishop, all is well, right? My opponent, do not forget, she is 10 years old. She is 10 years old. And the moves that she finds in this game are just outstanding. I'm thinking to myself, wow, if I could play chess like you when I was 10, where would I be now? I wouldn't be doing game reviews with a 1600 rating. I'll tell you that much for sure. Anyway, chess is hard, for sure. My opponent plays queen a4 exclamation point. She gets out of the line of this knight. So now, if there's any takes and takes, I'm just going to lose the knight. So I figure I've got to do something. So I end up playing c takes d4. And I thought, okay, she's going to take back. I'll take, life is good. All is well. No problems. Still, I didn't see the power in her move. Remember, this is game 60, 10-second delay, and we're now getting to the point where you're looking at your clock and you're like, okay, we got there's some critical decisions coming up, and we were getting a little bit lower on time. She was playing faster than me, shocker, and but my opponent plays c4. when I saw this move on the board, I thought to myself, oh, snaps, I'm in trouble. When my coach was playing through this game and saw that move, he immediately in the analysis board that we were using, he immediately gave it a double exclamation point. He said that is a phenomenal move, especially for a 10-year-old that has a 1400 rating. This is a phenomenal move. These two pawns are now becoming very dangerous with this bishop pair. I mean, look at this. This is getting dangerous. I see c4 on the board, and I'm getting like, oh boy, this is critical. This is critical. And at this point, actually, really up until this point, I was fighting back and forth. I didn't really see the value in this queen a4 moves, and I thought, well, I can take here. You know, she's going to take back. You know, I still thought I could do something, right? Well, maybe even this doesn't even work because you have this. So yeah, I take here, and then she plays c4. And now I'm starting to sweat. I'm starting to think to myself, this game is going south. And so I thought, well, okay, I'll attack her bishop. She's just going to move her bishop back somewhere, maybe move here or whatever. She, again, finds this incredible move. Incredible move. She, exclamation point, c5 again. And so instead of she just left her bishop, you know, gets a tempo on my queen. And right here, there's actually this is a critical point. Okay. She could have, which is slightly more accurate. She could have dropped her bishop back. But c5 again is number, kind of bounces back and forth with the best move on Stockfish. And really, there's only one move for me to stay in this game. Spoiler alert, I didn't see it. And again, it shows an area of my chess that I just have to grow in, and is to evaluate these positions. There's literally one move, and one move only, that gives me any sort of hope or prayer. And if you haven't seen it already, you may pause the video. It's probably screaming at you right now. You're probably like just saying, I know exactly what to do. I ended up playing queen c7, which is a huge blunder, and everything begins to fall apart. But the only move is queen takes a5. Remember, this bishop is being attacked. And she would have more than likely taken with the queen, keeping her pawns intact. I would have taken here. Now, the thing about this is she can bring this. I'm going to push. She's still winning. She's still winning. Matter of fact, she can take here. I can push here, and I probably would have lost because she has the queen, and you know, we're a little bit in time trouble. But it was a way to hopefully hold on. I played queen c7, and she ends up playing bishop g3. She could have dropped back here. It might have been a little more accurate, but still, this is not doing too good for me. I really was struggling. Look at my pieces. They're all just cramped down here. These two pawns are not, you know, making any advances. I don't know really. I'm like, okay, maybe I can coordinate my pieces. I play knight b8. Oof, not good. Not good. She finds a move that's decent, but there's actually a crushing move, which is right here, and this is like resigns. I mean, everything's falling apart. It's just ugly. I'd have to do something like this, and she can even just take here, because if I take here, she has this, and she's on this and this, and yeah, it's just, ugh, this is not pretty. This is not pretty. So she ends up playing rook b5. Again, she's saying, putting a lot of pressure on my position. There is a move in this position that, again, saves the game, kind of gets me out of this bind, and that is queen d7. basically saying you can't move your rook because your queen is pinned to your queen. So all of this shenanigans on here, she can take here, but then I can actually go, let's see here. I can actually just start pushing here, put a little pressure there. Yeah, it ain't over, but you know, it gives me hope and a prayer. Of course, I didn't find that move. I end up playing knight c6, and here she can again take here with the same tactic. She didn't see that. She ends up playing rook b6. She's trying to build up the pressure on my position. Right here, actually, Stockfish doesn't say I'm completely lost, but I'm just really having a hard time finding the correct moves. I play rook a8, and she actually has a cool move, queen b5. She didn't see that. She ended up playing what she played, queen c2. Yeah, queen c2. And I I again had moves like this. I can move my king up. I can, you know, kind of wait around a little bit. I end up playing the losing move, rook a6, double question mark. And look at this. She finds this b5 move. I didn't even see that move. Completely didn't see it. So takes here, and takes here, and then she ends up taking here. She's on my queen and my knight. I takes. She ends up taking with the queen. I take here, takes here, and she plays bishop d5. I played rook c5. And this is actually kind of interesting because she, I kind of knew, I thought she would go into this line. I was baiting her into taking here, okay? Because I was calculating, I thought I saw there was a way to make this difficult for her. She actually plays, she's completely winning. Really anything she can play her bishop to here, or she can play here. There's just a ton of things that she can do. I think even she can just go here. Yeah, she's just, yeah, everything's gonna win for her. She ends up taking here. This is actually a blunder on her part. It allows me to regain this bishop. I'll show you. Takes and takes. Now, I cannot go here because obviously I'm pinned. Anytime I have to move my king. I have to move my king because she has this threat. Check and then takes. There is one move and one move only that can save this game. I didn't see it again. It is the this game, I tell you, this game, it just this was a rough one. There is a move, and that move is king f8. That is it. There's no way for her to stop me from playing f6. And watch, king f1, f6. She's got to move somewhere. She'll probably move, even if she drops back to, goes here. I'm getting this. She takes here. I can go here. Yeah, this is going to be a draw. This is going to be a draw. And even I probably could hold on to this as a draw. I end up seeing this tactic, knowing that she's going for this. I can't push this pawn. There's stuff I have to do. I played king g7. She played f4, finds the best move. I play here, and the rest of the moves aren't really super important. Matter of fact, I think I got to, let's see, rook here, and I tried to, confuse her a little bit. She just played incredibly well, and she converted nicely. I actually stopped recording right here because I was I had like a minute left, and I was just playing on the delay almost, and she played like it was like a boa constrictor in the sense that she just milked the position. I was trying to trade off pawns. I thought I had like a draw possibly. I was thinking maybe my whole point was I wanted to trade, I'd give up these 3 pawns for these 2 pawns, and then she's got the wrong colored bishop, for this pawn to be remaining, you know, and I did everything I could, and she did not let me do it. I wish I would have had all the rest of the moves, because it was kind of interesting actually from this point. I had like a little bit of hope, but then like any 10-year-old chess player, she just took my dreams and just crushed them slowly, but nonetheless she crushed them. So yeah, I lost this game. So right now I'm 1 win, 1 loss, and this was a hard loss. It's one thing to lose to somebody that you say, hey, this person's been playing chess for a long time, but to lose to a 10-year-old, yeah, it's not fun, not fun. So after this game, I was kind of like, oh man, this is rough. I was, you know, like I kind of went into this tournament as one of the highest rated players in my section, thinking, hey, I got a chance to, you know, to win this. And in these open tournaments like this, when you lose a round 2 game, it's not super simple to come back and make a go of it. So yeah, I had one more round on Monday, the same day, and I knew that was coming up in a couple hours. So I went back to my hotel room, kind of tried to get my mind to wrap around what had just happened. And in fairness, she's a strong, very strong player. She, you could tell her family was pretty happy and everything like that. And I congratulated her. She's got a huge future ahead of her. I mean, she's incredibly strong and very talented. And I hope she continues to play chess. We need more young people playing chess for sure. It's hard to lose to kids sometimes, you know. I'm like, my daughter's your age, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, how in the world? But I'm very thankful that a lot of kids are into chess, but at the same time, at these tournaments, I'm just like, man, I would love to just be playing adults all the time, but not always the case. Not always the case. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching this video. It was a painful game. There was probably 5 critical moments, and every single one of them I actually chose the wrong the wrong decision. So not the best game, but a lot to learn from. And I need to remind myself in those critical moments that if you just feel like this is the moment, I gotta spend some more time, and I'll calculate a little bit more. Really, the worst thing was this king f8. I just did not see that, to be able to basically salvage the game. I could have. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But hey, thanks for watching this video. Please do like the video, subscribe, leave me a comment. They're always encouraging. It is my channel's small enough where if you leave a comment, more than likely I will respond, or at least acknowledge it for sure. So hey, have a great day, and we'll catch you next time on Dad Life Chess.